Hello, everybody, hello. This is Otis,
I'm Jerry.
and this is two guys catching up on football. Our weekly conversation. We were kind of watching. It's Sunday, and so we were watching football, and so after the first wave of games, we got bored, and it's like, yeah, let's go
Yeah,
on the conversation
that
now.
trying to think what kind of a sleepy Sunday, I guess. I didn't. There were some
Yeah,
good games earlier, but
there were some that turned out to be pretty decent that you
yeah,
weren't.
Carolina and the Rams was a thriller. But
Yeah, I was not expecting that to be any good because nobody's really been able to do anything with Stafford,
yeah,
and yet Carolina did. And then the Jets and Falcons, I was expecting to be really bored by that, but that
but
turned out to be a pretty decent game.
yeah, and I think that convinces it all season. I've been wondering. I can't figure out the Falcons. I finally figured it out today. They're not good. So yeah,
Yeah,
and,
and
and our
and the Texans and the Colts were a good game too.
yeah.
And the Texans are much better now, and
They're on a
so
roll right now, and they can win the division.
yeah, they could.
Yeah.
It'll
And I
be
don't, if I
interesting.
read that right, Daniel Jones is playing with a fractured fibula, which to me is nuts. But
Yeah,
I guess he
yeah.
can move around. They probably pump him full of painkillers and say, get out there. Yeah, he probably can't even feel his leg.
Well, with the fractured fibula, though, because I mean, he needs that base to be able to throw the ball. So that's probably why a lot of his passes have been going off target a lot
Yeah,
over the
he
last
can't
couple of
plant. Yeah,
weeks. Yeah, yeah. So it's the game. No, that's tomorrow night. Patriots and the Giants are tomorrow night. Patriots have won 9 in a row. So and Steelers and the Ravens are going to be tied for the division lead, and so
which,
but I don't want to quite get into the NFL yet because I have something to say about Lane Kiffin.
yeah, let's,
Lane Kiffin probably knew weeks ago he was going to accept the LSU offer
yeah,
because they were going to pay him a lot of money.
right.
But he wanted to be able to coach Ole Miss in if they got into the title game and if
Yeah.
they get into the college football playoffs, he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Well, if you want to coach those guys, stay and coach them. You know,
True.
I can understand some people were saying, well, they should let him finish what he started. No, I don't think so. I
Not if
think,
he's already got one foot out the door. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
How much attention to detail is he actually going to pay when
right.
he's already, like you said, got one foot out the door?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
He's, yeah, I mean, he's thinking about what he can do to make LSU better instead of thinking about what can I
It's
do
not fair
to.
to the kids, I don't think.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
It isn't. And the thing is, a couple of years ago, back when they still had the 14 playoff, Florida State was undefeated, but they lost their quarterback. And so the playoff committee left them out of the playoff because they lost their quarterback. So there is a possibility, I don't think they will, but there is a possibility they could leave Ole Miss out of the playoffs
yeah.
because they don't have their head coach. There's a
Uh,
possibility.
yeah, I'd say,
I,
yeah.
I don't think they will, but it's
Yeah,
possible.
no, I'm with you. I don't think they'll do that either, but there's
Yeah.
a chance of it.
Yeah, and my other thing, this came up either yesterday or Friday. Nick Saban. I think it was Friday it came up. No, it was yesterday because it was on. It was during their college football kickoff thing that he's on. So he is ranting and raving about. Uh, he thought Kiffin should be allowed to coach. He thought so. He is also ranting and raving about the portal and all that other stuff about how they should have the portal just be 1 time of the year so kids can't move. And well, here we
Right.
got a coach that's moving on the kids. And but then the thing that he said that really got to me was, well, the leaders of college football ought to do something about this.
Well, come.
And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. You were the most respected coach in college football, probably of all time. When you were coaching, you were making $7 million a year, and these kids couldn't even take lunch from somebody
Right.
without risk of being suspended or having their scholarship taken
Yeah.
from them. You could have said something about that, and you didn't. You were a leader in college football, and if you had said, "Hey guys, this is wrong. The university should not be making billions of dollars and yet think is equal to giving these kids $100,000 scholarship for school and think
Right.
that's equal." So that kind of got me rankled. That did get me rankled a
Well, he
little.
says, what did he say at one point, either earlier this year or last year, was, well, you know, the talent pool is getting diluted because Big Ten teams are recruiting. Something about Big Ten teams are recruiting more. Well, look, Nick, Coach, not everybody is supposed to go to Alabama. Sorry,
Yeah,
he complains about very strange things sometimes, where it's like, dude, really?
sometimes he
Uh,
does.
yeah,
Yeah, because I remember a long time ago when they played Auburn and Cam Newton, and they were running the no huddle. They were like one of the only teams ran the no huddle. And he went off on a rant about that. Well, I can't get my defensive substitutions in. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's the point. That's the
right.
point of the no huddle is that
Yeah, no,
you can't.
yeah,
Yeah,
he will
so
say things at times where it's like, what? Yeah.
because he was like, well, players could get hurt.
What is the old expression? Pot meat kettle, or kind of
That's
he.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's like, well, players could get hurt. No, they won't. They're not going to get
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
But then right after that, he says, well, I can't get my defensive substitutions in for the situation. Yeah, that's the point of this.
Yeah, I
You
think he
can't.
was
You
talking
can't get
about
your.
nil NIL money one time too. About that. Well, now the Big Ten schools can start bringing in players. Yes, that's right. They're not all supposed to go to Georgia and Alabama. Sorry,
That's
Coach.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, come
And
on.
I still think he will deny it, but I still think players at Georgia and Alabama were getting paid under the table before this
I'm sure they were.
NIL. Because how could you?
Something. They're either getting
Yeah,
cars or they're. Hey, you know
there's
what?
something.
You're. Check your in your garage. Somebody accidentally dropped off a 65-inch television for your parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Because
So
how could you get 5-star recruits to sit behind other people? For the reason they're 5-star recruits is because they are better than anybody else. How could you convince them to sit around and wait for their opportunity without them getting some sort of?
yeah, there was something funny going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so he
You know what? I don't know if you remember the old movie. I think it was Robert Redford Brubaker. He's a prison warden, and the
uh-huh.
guys try to grease him. Basically, one of the guys comes over and says, now my wife spent all day making this pie to make sure you really enjoy it. And when he hands the warden the pie, of course, there's a little money showing from underneath the pie. So it's that kind of a thing, I'm sure, is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, I'm sure too.
Yeah.
So, but now with the NIL, now with the portal, these kids go to these schools because of the coaches that recruit them. And if you're going to allow a coach to leave a school before his contract is up, well, you know what? And the kids should be allowed to also,
Yeah.
because in a lot of cases, the um, the scholarship is for 1 year. That's it. So it's on a year by year basis. Well, if that coach doesn't want you to be on scholarship the
Yeah.
next year,
Right.
guess what? You're out of luck. You
Yeah, yeah,
won't
true.
be there.
Right.
So if you're gonna play
Excuse me.
footsie with the coaches and
Yeah.
let them have revolving doors to move around whenever they see fit, or whenever they see that there's about to be a penalty come down on the school they're at and they don't want to stay there, they take off. Well, the kids should be allowed to take off too. But when Saban was one of the leading coaches, they could have addressed all of this stuff many, many years ago, seen in essence, basically kind of see the future and see what was wrong
Right, right.
with what was going to happen and be able to better regulate what's going to happen. Because it
Yeah.
should be regulated, it shouldn't really be a free for all, and he's
Yeah.
right about that.
Right.
But, you know, don't be a hypocrite about it. And that's to me, that's what he's being, is a hypocrite.
Oh, he can do that. His a top five moment for me was him going on, I think, either Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football
Yeah, yeah.
at halftime and lobbying that his team should be in the in the
Well,
college playoff.
Sarkeesian just did that. He just did that Saturday night after
Oh,
Texas beat Texas A&M. So and of course it was the same thing that Nick
well, they'll
always.
probably get in too. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same thing that Nick always said. Well, we have the toughest schedule in the
Oh, yeah.
country, and we went, and this was Sarkeesian, and we went and played Ohio State in our very first game of the year. Nobody else has put down a schedule like this. Guy, I'm sorry, but the bottom teams in the SEC would not win games in the Big Ten. They would not win games in the Big 12. There's a reason they're the bottom teams in the SEC. And to say that they're tough, that's just a joke. I mean, that is really just a joke. I and so he took up the mantle. I want to see if I can find this. Um, let's see if I can find this.
Are you
There's
looking up the rankings?
Well, what I was looking for is here. Here it is, right here. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. The conference standings. Okay. So Arkansas is 2-10. South Carolina is 4-8. Mississippi State is 5-7. Auburn is 5-7. Florida is 4-8. Kentucky is 5-7. So you got one, two, three, four, five, 6 teams in the SEC that are below 500, and it's not until you get to LSU, who is not good,
Right.
is the first team that's 7-5, and you can't say you can't say that you're going through the toughest schedule in the country every week.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can't say that, because if you were, those guys would be better, but they're
Yeah.
not. I mean, the top teams, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, they are good, But you don't play, they don't play each other every single week. So you can't say that. So it's
I think any of those teams can anybody beat Ohio State?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because they're college kids. And
Yeah,
so they're 18, 19, 20 years old. You never know what you're going to get out of them in any
that's
given
true.
week. So
Right.
so it's not like they're professionals. So it's kind of
True.
if the girlfriend just dumped them that week, it's hard to say what kind of mood they're gonna be in and if they can compartmentalize enough to get over that and be able to focus on
True.
playing. So
True.
it's hard to say. I do think it's gonna be hard. Ole Miss has one loss. Texas A&M have one loss. Those are the top four teams. Um, and either Alabama or Georgia will get the bye as one of the top four teams in the ranking. I don't think they both will get the bye because
Mm.
if Georgia wins, Alabama will have three losses, but I think they'll still get in.
Right.
And so, and since I think Alabama beat Texas and Georgia beat Texas. So
Right.
head to head, those two will be above them anyway. So, but the uh, the committee gave themselves an out as far as Texas A&M and Ole Miss goes, but it'll remain to be seen if they put Ole Miss in
Now
after
I think that's next
skipping this
Sunday.
game. Next Sunday, yeah, the selection show is next Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Next Saturday are the conference championships.
Yeah. Okay.
So the winners of those will get in, whether they'll get one of the top four seeds or not. The selection committee gave themselves an out that they can put someone in the top four even if they didn't win a conference championship. So you got the four. The ACC is kind of down this year, but probably the conference champion will get in. They
Right.
probably won't get a bye, but they'll get in, and then the group of five. So basically, those two will get in, and then so there's 10 spots that are left. Then you got the four. You got the four teams that'll get a bye. So now you only have 6 spots left.
Right.
I don't think the SEC will get 4 of those spots. I think they'll get the one bye, and I think they'll get 2 other teams in. And I think Big Ten, I think Indiana's in, and
Yeah.
Ohio
Oh,
State
definitely.
is
Yeah.
in.
Right.
I think those two are in.
In
Um,
Oregon.
and Oregon, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and Oregon. SEC might get 3. If Big Ten gets 3, SEC is going to get 3. And
Well, I
so
think SEC will get four probably. Yeah.
it's possible.
You're
I
right.
don't really. Well, yeah.
That'd be
It
my
all
guess.
it all depends on if Ole Miss gets in. If Ole Miss doesn't get in, it'll be 3. It'll be Alabama, Georgia, and Texas A&M.
You're right.
Those 3. Ole Miss should be in, irregardless of whether Kiffin is coaching or not. Because the player should not be penalized because he decides to leave.
No, true. Right.
But so yeah, so probably 4 for them. For the Big Ten, let me see, let me find that. Where are they? They're right here. Well, you know what? USC has 3 losses though. That's going to be kind of iffy. Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon will probably be the
They'll get in.
three. Will be the
USC, I do
three.
not think gets in.
Yeah, because you got USC and Michigan are both 9-3 and 7-2 in the conference. But yeah, and let's see. The Big 12 could get two. Texas Tech and BYU are playing in the conference championship. So the loser could still get a spot. Um,
Possible.
it's possible. They could still get a spot.
But I
You,
think didn't BYU lose? I thought they just lost to somebody.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure. In the ACC, I think
Miami.
I think there's a possibility for Miami and Virginia, but they both
Yeah,
have two losses. If Virginia wins the conference championship, they're in. And
yeah,
then it'll be a matter of whether Miami gets Miami. And I think Miami is number 10.
something like that.
Yeah. So it all depends
10 or 12. Yeah,
yeah, it all depends on how the playoff committee ranks them come Tuesday. So that's two. That's we'll say two out of the ACC. We'll say two out of the Big 12, so that's four. We'll say three out of the Big 10. That's seven.
Notre
Conference.
Dame.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Notre Dame. So
They'll get
that's
in.
eight. They'll get in. That's eight.
Yeah,
And four out of the SEC. There's 12.
yeah,
So someone in that bunch won't get in because the group of five will get one in.
all right.
So somebody out of that bunch won't get in and will stay home. And I like Sarkeesian. I really do like him. But after him lobbying yesterday, I kind of hope they get left out. Let your guys prove it on the field. You had 12 games, and you could have won more games, and you didn't.
It's
And
true.
so, and so let that be a lesson to you. Win more games. So, so it's really kind of down to like what did I say? 10. ACC might only get one. So if that's the case, then probably ACC will get four. Probably. So
Yeah, thanks.
ACC will probably only get one, and Miami will get left out. So it just kind of depends. So we'll see. So going to the pros here real quick. I sent you this text. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Geno Smith just call it a career. You were great at one time. You're not anymore. And I honestly think Aaron Rodgers cost the Steelers probably two wins, maybe three this year because of the interceptions that he's thrown. Because
He,
he just
he,
doesn't. He just it doesn't have it anymore.
now they're. I don't know what the score is, but I'm assuming they're still losing,
Yeah, let me see if I.
and they would fall to 6-6, and uh, I would find it very ironic if Mike Tomlin's streak of winning seasons ends with Rodgers being the starter. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
that
I
would be
think
ironic.
Rodgers has been kind of done. They rolled the dice
Yeah,
on it. The Jets did. Uh,
yeah.
he wasn't all that great there, and he's not what he used to be. You're right.
Steelers would have been better keeping Justin Fields. They wouldn't be
Yeah,
they
maybe.
wouldn't be great, but I think they'd be better off.
I
Or
think that they may have been uh, either equal or better with Rudolph starting.
maybe
Yeah.
I think they would have
I,
been much better had they drafted Shador Sanders. I think they would have been much better.
I'm not.
Because actually, it's a two-pronged thing. If they had drafted Sanders, and if they had kept George Pickens. I mean,
true.
I know Pickens was a pain in the butt,
Well,
but
if
they
you would
had
have had Pickens and DK Metcalf,
right.
and
It,
somehow
it,
got
it-
them to work together. With
yeah,
Sanders,
yeah.
interesting.
And with our favorite, well, one of our favorite coaches, the
Yeah.
most nondescript coach who actually has the most nondescript name
Yeah,
in all of history, Arthur Smith. You could, if you put him in a crowd of ordinary people
oh, you
and
wouldn't know
just
who
gave
he
people
is. Yeah.
hints, no,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even
Yeah.
have to put him in a crowd. If he was in a police lineup and they
Yeah.
said, "Hey, would you pick out an NFL coach out of this bunch?" Nobody could do it.
No.
So I think
Hey,
if they had kept Pickens, I think if they had drafted Sanders, I think Arthur Smith is a good coach. I mean, he
yeah.
really is. You and I joke about him being nondescript,
No, he's a good coach.
but
Yeah.
he's a
And a
good coach.
likable person.
Yeah, and I think he would have been able
I,
to, and Sanders would have been working first team reps all camp. He would have, he would have been the starter coming in. He would have had more, and he wouldn't have had a coach who disliked him.
yeah.
So it's kind of like it would have been good for both sides if they had drafted him. So
This is the first game today I fully watched Shadur. I thought the first half he was great. He made one, but I would say a mistake. Not a big deal. Second half, not so good. But they started doing Browns things, so
yeah, and of
it's
course
hard to gauge when. And to your point, is their receivers. I don't know what has happened to Jerry. Judy sucks.
their
Uh,
receivers are horrible. They
yeah,
can't get
they
open.
stink.
They
They've
can't get
got a
open,
Fannin and Njoku. Other than that, they're terrible. They really are
yeah,
bad.
and so because the outside receivers are so bad, the tight ends are being doubled. So he has
Yeah,
no one. He has no one to get the
I
ball
don't know
out
how
to.
they. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do. What they're gonna do to try to fix stuff. But
My suggestion
oh,
is they fire Stefanski and keep going. I'll just keep talking while you had to get up and do something. That's okay. So to those that are watching us, I'm talking to you because Jerry got up. Um, I think they should fire Stefanski and the coaching staff and start
well,
with a better
now
start
I
with a
did not
better
have an emergency this time. I had to get a cat
yeah.
inside. But
And
they.
so
Well,
start with
so I thought about this a little bit today. This is technically the second year in a row the Browns' offense has been a disaster. They
yeah,
can run the ball with Judkins just fine, but other than that, the passing game does not exist. So
yeah, yeah,
there's something fundamentally wrong with the offense. It's Ken Dorsey's even off the hook. I think Tommy Reese is. I don't even know who that is. He's calling plays now.
yeah.
Stefanski's the head coach. You got
Tommy
to
Reese
make
was in Alabama.
you got
He
to
was
make
he was an
something needs
offensive
to be
coordinator.
changed.
I think it's the
Seriously,
head coach. Yeah,
I agree. I
I
can't.
think it's the head coach.
You're wasting the defense is great, and then they'll do stupid stuff like special teams or what are they doing on a 4th and 1? Stefanski or Reese, whoever it was, you're gonna run a sneak with your rookie tight end Fannin Jr. and he of course fumbled. What is that? What
Yeah,
are you guys doing? You
yeah.
know, a buddy of
Don't try to
mine.
be smarter. Don't try to be smarter than the
Well,
man.
that's your nailing. That's what my buddy of mine back in Cleveland always says. Stefanski's always got to prove he's the smartest guy in the stadium,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
doesn't work. Yeah,
No, just do basic stuff. You'll get by much more easily.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
What
coming
a
down to
division that
you
is,
know.
though. I mean, I think if the Steelers lose, the Browns have 9 losses, and they're still in the division race. It's ridiculous. That's how
Well,
bad that division is.
who was it? Tampa Bay won the South one year with a 7-9 record, and
So it can be done.
it can be done, and got to host the playoff game. The Seahawks one year went 7-9 and got to host the
Yeah,
playoff
that's true.
game, and they beat the team that they were hosting. That was the year that
Yeah. Uh, uh,
what's his name went beast mode on the team that
oh,
came in.
Lynch. Yeah.
Lynch. The
Yeah.
team came in had like 12 or 13 wins, and he went beast mode on them and ran for a touchdown. And I guess the censors in Seattle thought it was a earthquake from all the shaking that was going on in the stadium. So hey, I think
Yeah, I'm
Shador
going to
just
stick
needs
with it.
halftime.
Now, we know Seattle won today. I don't know what the final score was. They might win the division themselves because of the Rams.
They shut out the Vikings. The quarterback was a undrafted free agent.
Yeah. Uh, Brosmer, I think. Yeah.
Rosmer, he played at the University of Minnesota 1 year, but he was really good. And so, but nobody drafted him, and so they signed him to a free agent contract. But hey,
Now,
this was not the defense to play against your first start in the NFL.
now, who are
It
we
wasn't.
giving? Now, I think if I'm doing Coach of the Year, you're not going to like it, but I think I'm going to give it to Shanahan. But I'd be tempted to look at, I don't even know who the head coach of Carolina is. I
Oh,
might look at a team like that too, you know,
yeah.
or even Gus Johnson at the Bears. You know, he's turned it
Ben
around.
Johnson. Ben
Ben, thank you.
Johnson. Gus
I
Johnson
did
was
that
the
last week.
answer.
I keep thinking of the
Yeah.
Supersonics, I think.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
The old,
I would
yeah,
give it to Ben Johnson. I
yeah.
would give it to Ben
Uh,
Johnson. I think Shanahan has done well with all the injuries that they've had. And I think Robert Sala has done well with all the
yeah,
injuries they have had. Um, but the Bears are like what 9 wins better than they were last year.
true, right.
I gotta go with him. And Caleb Williams looks like the number one pick in the draft.
That's
And it, and
coaching. It's
and
got to
it's
be.
all because of Ben Johnson. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you can't look anywhere else, and it's all because of Ben Johnson, and he knows what he's doing, and there's no two ways about
I
it.
think
I
I keep thinking of
go with
Gus Williams. He was on the Sonics, though. That's a whole different. I
Oh,
think.
I'm sorry,
There-
Gus Williams. Gus Johnson is the play-by-play guy for college football.
Oh,
That's who
okay,
he
yeah,
is.
that's.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know who you're
that's who.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Gus Johnson is the
Okay, that's
play-by-play
getting.
guy. Yeah, that's like being really confused.
Yeah.
So anyway, so buddy, well, we can call it a day. I think we got a good conversation in today with all the things that was bugging us
Yep.
in college and pro football. So I think that's good. So tomorrow night's game I probably won't watch. I think the Patriots. It's the Giants and the
Yeah,
Patriots.
Patriots should win that game.
Jackson Dart is off of concussion protocol, but he still may not quite be, not may not quite be right.
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as being able to see the field and stuff, it's hard to say. They probably, if you get knocked out in boxing, you have at least a month off, a month to 6 weeks.
All right.
Same thing with UFC. If you get knocked out, a month to 6 weeks, maybe 2 months before they'll even considering letting you
Yeah.
fight again. I understand why they don't with football. That's why they probably should expand the rosters. You can have more quarterbacks on the roster, and you don't need to rush that guy back because I don't think 2 weeks is enough
You
for you
make me
to
think. Why
get
not,
right.
or at the least, maybe game 8 or so, week 8 is expand the rosters. And I'm following that as I think baseball does that towards the end. You can add
Baseball
players.
does that towards the end. They
Yeah,
allow roster expansion,
yeah.
and that's pretty good. After
Well,
week eight
plus you
or
can bring in guys. Maybe I want to see somebody on the practice squad. I don't know.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's almost time for a little traveling music, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who watches. And we probably have 2 or 3 people that watch religiously. So to you guys, we say thank you so very
Yeah, we're
much.
thankful for you to watch.
Yeah, yeah, no joke. I mean, even if we didn't have any watchers, we'd still do this
We'd
anyway.
still do it. Yeah.
Cause it's just fun for us.
Yeah.
So anyhow, you have a good rest of the evening, buddy. It is
Yeah. You
traveling
guys.
music time. Here we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm Otis,
I'm Jerry.
and we thank you again for another week for us to get a chance to get together. So everybody have a great week. Ciao, Bella.
Yeah. Peace. Yeah.